Good evening. It is exactly 9 p.m. It's Wednesday. It is time for another of Hope and Action Network's Friend of a Wounded Heart program. We come to you week after week with this program. Hope and Action Network is an NGO, and we have decided that every Wednesday we are going to be discussing some issue that is going to help society. So let's pray as we begin. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for today. You brought us through today safely. And as we go into this program this evening, we ask that you take full control. We ask that you bring viewers on so that they can participate in what we do here. We ask that you keep the connectivity going so that we can discuss without interruptions. And may we all benefit from what transpires here, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. So, yes, good evening and welcome to Hope and Action Network's Friend of a Wounded Heart program. Every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, we're here. And we're always happy to have you. We're always happy that you can join us. And when you join us, feel free to participate in our discussions. Why are we here? We're here because Hope and Action Network has a vision that says a better society built on strong foundations through the empowerment of everyone. So when we come here week after week, we are aiming at empowering society. But as we do that, we are empowering ourselves. We have been here for 142 times already. So this is session 143, and we will keep going. We will keep discussing issues that can help society. Now, I cannot recap for you 142 sessions. What I can do is tell you what we did for the last 5 sessions. So on the 9th of July, we did Women Don't Hit Him. And because there were some interruptions in that program, we had to repeat that program on July 16th. Women don't hit him. And there we spoke to women about domestic abuse because we recognize that there are some men who experience domestic abuse. On the 23rd of July, we did All That Glitters Is Not Gold. Sometimes we pick up fake gold or fool's gold. It's glittering, but it's really not gold. On the 30th of July, we talked about 7 reasons why men leave. That program is not yet on YouTube because I had limited connectivity, poor bandwidth, but we are going to ensure that what was discussed will be placed on YouTube. And last week, one of our social workers, who is a member of Hope and Action Network, dealt with the temper and how we can tame our tempers. So that was August 6th. This evening, session 143, 7 times. 7 times. Now, recently in Trinidad and Tobago, we saw on the news that a young girl ran away from home 7 times. She ran away for the 7th time. And normally when I see these things on social media, I scan the comments because I like to understand what people are saying, what people are thinking, and how they draw conclusions. Many people jumped to the conclusion that this young girl is hot, that she ran away because she wanted to go meet a man. She ran away because she was looking for a belly, or she ran away because she wanted her own way. Now, I do not know the reasons, and I did not try to find out, although I could have found out what was taking place. I deliberately did not, because I do not want to discuss that girl this evening. I want to discuss why children run away so that we can understand the issue. And if there's anything we can do to prevent them from running away, then we certainly can. We can ensure that we put things in place to help these young people. People do things for a reason. There are reasons why people do things. And somehow, in Trinidad and Tobago, we know the reason for every person's action. We believe that we know why people do what they do. And sometimes, I wonder where we get our expertise from. Now, this evening, we are not going to be bashing anybody. We are not going to be bashing any parent. We are here to help to build a better society. So I really don't want people to be saying, if it was me and I will never, and things like that. We are not here to promote ourselves or to make anybody think that we are perfect. We are here to discuss real issues. We are here to assist if we can. So I do not want any bashing of anyone on this program this evening. We can talk about what happens. We have to be real. We have to be real. But let us avoid criticizing people and making people believe that we are perfect and they are not. So let's be careful about how we make our contributions. We can talk about the issues. We can give examples, but let us indeed be very, very careful. So we are going to talk about why some children run away. And in the promotion, I said, maybe we should wonder, are they running from or running to? Society usually believes that the children are running to, but sometimes they are running from certain things. So, but children run away from home for various factors. There's several reasons why children run away from home. And I'll mention them and we'll go into them a little later. It could be abuse or family conflict or maybe mental health issues that a child is experiencing. Sometimes it is a way to escape unhealthy home environments. Or maybe there are difficult situations at home that they cannot cope with. For example, bullying or lack of support. But running away can be a cry for help, indicating that there is need for some support and some kind of intervention. Remember, along the way, you can put up your hand, you can stop me, you can comment. And if you ever ran away, perhaps you might want to tell us and give us the reason. For some children, it is easier to live away from home than at home. And I remember the president of Hunters Search and Rescue, one of the teams, because they're two separate teams, when he was on our program and we talked about running away, he indicated to us that some people leave home and do not want to be found. There are some people who do not want to be found. So sometimes we hear people say, well, so long this person is missing when the police did nothing or they didn't find them. Well, we were told that there's some people who just do not want to be found. So some children find it easier to live away from home than to live at home. Some do what is called episodic running away. So something happens. They're not accustomed to running away, but something happens and they are afraid to face the consequences. But this is not really a consistent pattern. So a child who does episodic running away may do it when there's an episode, when something happens. It's not a pattern. But this child in this situation did not use proper problem-solving strategies. And so they decide, look, let me just get out of this. And sometimes they may be using it to gain power. They may be trying to avoid the consequences of their action. They may be trying to avoid humiliation or embarrassment. For example, a young girl might become pregnant and she knows that the parent will go mad. And so they decide to run away at that point in time. Now, we are not saying run away from home. We are facing reality. We recognize that some children run away, and we are discussing it because we want to assist society. But there are some who engage in chronic running away. So there is this child who ran away for the 7th time, and society just lit up. There is a reason why people do things. We are not saying that running away is something good, but there is a reason. And we need, when these things happen, to get to the root, to get down to the causes, and to help the child, or help the parent, or help whoever needs help in this situation. All right, so I'll pause here now because I know somebody who ran away. Does anybody want to come in here? We have our expert here. Mrs. Claire Guy. Yes, and you can jump in at any time. You know, we always love to have you on the program. We know you join us whenever you can. And we know that your heart is in this topic. Yes, somebody wanted to say something. Was it you, Aura? Oh, Kathy Ann, go ahead.
Yeah. Let Aura go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. I just came in, so I am unaware of what the comments. But this is a topic that I am particularly interested in.
Okay,
right?
good.
So I would listen for the time being. Thank you.
Thanks for joining. Go ahead, Kathy.
Yes, I know about a child who used to run away because she felt unwanted. Her mother got married and the guy left. And then after, her mother got pregnant with her. And yes, the guy left and it was in the church and she was feeling ashamed. She got pregnant and all of this. And then she got married. And then she had another child. And she lifted the other child in high esteem because the child was born in wedlock.
In wedlock.
Yes. And she had the other child feeling so left out, because this is my second child father, my husband child. And had the first child feeling so left out. So the child used to run away and go do what she wants and come back when she wants. I tell her that child do not care. I don't know nobody in the world who don't care like that child. She do not care at all. Until the mother used to make sure and drop her to school 5 minutes before the bell ring. Because if she go early, she go in her way. The mother used to make sure and reach to work late. Just to make sure that child reaches school right before the bell. It was a terrible, terrible thing. And everybody was blaming the parents. There had to be something going wrong in the home. Something is wrong. The child is not being treated right. And she only running away. And she don't care who say what or nothing. I tell you, she don't care. She don't care at all.
Did she ever receive any help?
I don't know. But right now she's an adult. She still don't care. I tell you, she don't care. She don't care what nobody says. Ash, the day she turned 18, she moved out.
Oh yes, I know that kind of story. Yes. As soon as they tell themselves, look, I'm an adult, nobody could come running after me. Nobody could convince me to go home. Some of them leave. Well, that's not running away because that's an adult we're talking about here. But you're saying that even at school, even
when she was
as a
younger,
child, she ran away as well.
From about 12 to 17.
But you also explained the situation to us that made us understand that this child was not really cherished, didn't receive love, felt unwanted. And that's why she ran out. That's why she ran away. Yeah, and as I said, we're not here to bash any parents. We're here to discuss the real issues and to offer some solutions. So we're not We're not coming from a perspective of being perfect and no, and I will never, and I wouldn't do this, and my parents would this, and my parents would that. We're talking about real things that happen. We might have grown up with loving parents, but everybody doesn't have that. And so there's some people who will run away and will need help. There's some parents who will need suggestions. So let us be extremely careful about how we discuss this issue this evening. So thank you, Kathy, for your contribution. I see Rebecca is there. I know Rebecca is also a guidance counselor, so she might have some information to share with us. Eustace, an officer, and we have Mrs. Claire Guy Allen as well, who is on and listening. Why do children and young people run away? Why? Sometimes it's the influence of friends. Sometimes friends could say, let's go here, or let's go there, or let's do this, or let's do that. And sometimes the media could be misleading people and letting them believe that the world out there is all silver and gold and diamonds and pearls. And so they're encouraged. And some children like to test out new things. And they don't see it as a risk, but they see it as something beautiful and attractive out there. So they want the freedom. They don't want the confines of the home. And so they go. They leave, they run away. But some run away too when there's a disagreement in the home. They fall out with their parents, and they don't agree with what the parents said, they disagree, and they run away. And this could be an episodic runaway. So they run away on the spur of the moment, perhaps following an argument, or they may have strong feelings about something, and they're experiencing these strong emotions. They don't know how to communicate how they feel. They don't know how to negotiate what they want. And they feel the solution is to just get out of it. Just leave. So some run away because there's a disagreement at home.
Hi, good night.
Yes, sure, Rebecca. Good.
So I stepped away for 2 minutes. I'm hoping that I'm not going to say something that somebody said before.
That's all right.
But sometimes children run away because they're out of touch with reality. So like you said, they don't like what is going on at home, and somehow they feel as though their home situation is the worst, and everybody else is having a better life. And somehow what somebody else is offering them is always going to be better than what it is they're going through at home. Maybe their parents have rules, they have a curfew, they want to dress a particular way, and the parents say, you're not leaving my house looking like that. And somehow they feel like if they go with whoever is offering them something that seems better, they would decide, all right, let me go there and I will be able to live my life how I want to live it. Not realizing what some of these people, some of these other children have to put up with in order to live that kind of free life. And then sometimes they come back home and sometimes you have to go and get them because embarrassment when they realize, okay, this is not what I bargained for. And now they have to come back home and maybe apologize to their parents. And how you come back home and apologize? Because now you have to come back home and abide by those same rules that you try to run away from.
You ran away from.
And even though you're back now, you still don't like the rules. So it's about, should I go back? But yes, I should go back because I feel home is safer, but at the same time, I don't like the rules. So what am I going to do now that I'm back home and the rules are still there? So then after a while, they decide, okay, let me make a run again. Maybe this next direction might be the better one. And the thing is that sometimes they're predators. Yeah. And they know how to feel out these vulnerable children. And so you find that unfortunately, some children end up in that situation more than once, because they go once thinking that they're going to get something better. It didn't work out. They're going back home. But then somebody else comes and makes an offer and they go again.
Yeah.
Even though the first time didn't work out, they're going again with the hopes that this time this will be it. So it's about, sometimes it's about them being out of touch with reality and thinking that everything else on the other side is better.
Perfect.
Or that whatever is being offered to them has to be better than what it is I have to put up with. And then sometimes I tell my children, you see, these same things that your parents telling you and you kicking a fuss over, it will be so interesting to know that when you become parents, you will be telling your children the same thing.
The same things, right?
So listen up when you become parents and see if the words you're telling your children don't sound familiar. So that's my contribution.
Yes, indeed. Wonderful. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. Always, always glad to have you. Yes, so they run away. They run away. This is the reality. They're children who run away. Run away because there's a disagreement. Run away because they, as Rebecca said, everything out there looks good. Home is the worst place, some of them believe. Home is the worst place on the face of the earth. My parents, my home, my whatever, they think it's the worst. And then they go out there, like the prodigal son, they realize they out. So it's not really good, you know, I need to get up and go home. Some of them come back home. They're ashamed to come, so you have to go look for them. Some come back home with attitude. Some come, when they come home, you're always afraid that they're going to go again. And some go again, yes. Because as Rebecca said, they're coming back home to the same rules that they did not like. Go ahead, Lisa.
Good evening, everyone. What about a child who is being molested by a relative or maybe their mother's boyfriend or their, you know, and they are being threatened not to say anything. And maybe one day they decided to talk and the person, their parent or guardian, don't believe them or probably cannot deal with it. And that is a big, situation where a child will run away. Yes?
Yes, yes, Lisa. Some run away because of abuse. And these are the children who Shamsuddin Mohammed had said to us don't want to be found. They're not running away because they're bad. They're running away because there's abuse. They're experiencing abuse in the home. Physical, emotional, sexual, neglect, other forms of maltreatment. Or they feel unsafe at home. So they run away because they want to escape. Now, we don't know. And as I said, I didn't investigate why this child ran away for the 7th time. I didn't. But yeah, Shamsuddin Mohammed told us, or Ayube told us, that some of them run away and do not want to be found because there's so much abuse in the home. Sexual, physical, emotional, mistreatment, neglect. So they're looking for safety. They are escaping. They're trying to escape. They're trying to find a better place. So yes, Lisa, quite right. They run away. They try to get away to preserve themselves. Sexual abuse is a reality. And there's some people who endure it for some time, and there's some who will just get out of this situation. They'll run away, and they're right to leave. And this is one time I said they're right to leave. They're right to leave. But we also have to educate our children, and educate our parents so that they understand that there is help. There are places you can go for help, and superintendent, Is there anything you want to say at this point in time? Because I know you were in that unit and you provided quite a lot of support to us in programs gone by.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Yes, happy to have you.
Same here. That topic is, really timely because we have children running away. We have adult females running away. There are men also running away.
Yes.
But, society don't really speak about that much. And men don't even speak about it as well. But a lot of times with children, when it comes to children, I always tell people, whenever a child makes a disclosure of sexual abuse, whether it be to a parent in the home or any responsible adult, a teacher, a doctor, besides some persons being mandated to report it, I always say, start with the stance that you believe that child. Anytime you hear people start, and people love to do that, I don't know if it's unconsciously, that child is disclosing and you would say, you sure? Why are you lying? You are going to make that child close up. That child is going to close up because the child will think now that, here's what, I am saying something that is happening to me, to my mom or to my dad, and they don't believe me. So that is why sometimes you see children run away. Because remember, children are exposed to school, so they know what is right and they know what is wrong. And they know they're being sexually abused by a relative at home. They know that is wrong. And here it is, they're disclosing it to a parent, and you are telling the child that they're lying and hush your mouth. There are parents who do that.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And the thing about it, the Children Act that came out there in 2015, that act came out to really protect children, that the scope of laws or the suite of legislation that came out during that time, it really came to assist children. So certain categories of persons are mandated to report once a child discloses.
Yeah.
Yeah? And we have to protect our children. Start from the stance where you believe the child. If the police investigates the matter and it was unearthed that the child lied to the police, that child would be charged. The child would be charged. Yes. And now the law has expanded now, where even before you charge someone for a sexual assault against a child, that child must be assessed by a child psychologist. So even when the police is interviewing the child, the police has to ensure that that child is assessed by a child psychologist to ensure, and that is just a safeguard to ensure that the child knows the difference between truth and lies, one, and also to assess the child to see whether or not the child understands what they are saying, and if that child is capable of giving evidence in the court. So that is very, very critical. But we have to start to listen to our children. Yes, we may have some children who are influenced by other peers who will tell them run away because they are runaway as well. And they may influence a child to run away as well. And that is so dangerous. And that is, Ms. Bob-Dan, you said something there. You said we have to educate our children. These are conversations we ought to have in Sunday schools. We ought to have these conversations in the school itself. We have to have the conversation with our children, child appropriate, so that children would know, here's what, where they can get help. They can pick up the phone and call 999. There's the suicide hotline. There are a lot of help out here, and we have to expose and educate our children so that they know where they can seek help, because they need a safe space in which to thrive so that we don't have troubled adults or damaged adults. That's the problem in society now,
Yes.
If we focus more on our children, we would have a better society. But we have a way, we like to nurture the girls in one way, nurture the boys in another way. So you have a society of men who are rising up and they don't even know how to be a man because they were never taught. You leave them to grow up any way that they choose. I am saying it doesn't matter the sex of the child. You grow up, boy child and girl child together, the same sort of culture, the same sort of morals. And we will see a better society down the road. So we have to create a space where children feel safe, they feel loved, and where they can be open and strive to be the best that they can be. That's it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Always so direct and so educational in your contributions. I truly appreciate it. Truly do.
Good night, everybody.
Yes, Sherilyn, go ahead.
So we are a cultural, we are cultured society, and reason that I'm saying that, we have parents who was never taught about their sexuality, who was never taught the right names of their body parts. So they have their children growing up calling their body parts all different kind of names. And then now when they can't even talk to their parent, because what? Because their parents never took the time to understand the child, never took the time to hear what the child wants to become. So they think that is the way of, because they were cultured that way.
Yeah.
They come now and they culture their children that way. So if the child come to say, Mommy, I want to ask you this, shut up your mouth. Mommy, I want to talk to you about this. This is happening. I don't want to hear you right now. I'm busy. Leave me alone. And the minute they try to say, Mommy, the minute they hear the word sex, they get rotted. Yeah. Because you have parents like that. They will never educate their children because they will culture that way. So sometimes because they didn't have that from their parents, it is very, very hard for them to actually communicate with their children. And so when children don't get that connection with their parent, they can't talk to their parents about anything, you find the children will leave because the children feel neglected. And so the children will leave and go outside. And when they go outside, and what you think going to happen out there, they're going to get bad advice, because there's where the predators are out there. They're going to take advantage of the children. So the children are more vulnerable. They're going to be able to give the children what what the parent couldn't give a child. They will be able to give it to the child. And so it's a very scary thing.
It is.
But we I always believe, because I deal with children, and I love my children, and I listen to them, and I listen to their conversations. You understand?
Yeah.
And it is very important that we listen. Sometimes you're just having a talk with your other friend,
Yes, and you have to tune in.
Yeah, I'm talking about 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds having a conversation. And sometimes you sit and I just listen to their conversation, and you could pick up what is happening right there.
Yes.
So we have to be advocates for our children. We have to look out for our children. We have to be there as a big support, not to tear them down, but to be an advocate and stand in the gap when they can't express themselves the way that they would like to express. So, I'm encouraging everyone, let's be an advocate, let's be there for our children. And even as I said, education is power. And I believe a lot of parents need to get themselves educated, because I would have grown up in that era. And so that is what I know. I don't want to change that. You have to change it, especially when you have children.
Indeed, Sherilyn. And you mentioned the word sex. There's some adults who don't even want to call the word. They treat it as though it's an obscene word.
Yeah, and it's really bad, because,
yes,
like, for one example, I always say, we say, this is my eyes, this is my nose, this is my mouth, this is my ear, this is my neck, this is my stomach.
And this is my pata cake.
Right. But the minute you say peanut,
this is my pata cake.
Yes,
we give them all kinds of names.
They go crazy. Why did you tell the child that? Why did you say that to the child?
But it's a body part. It's a part of the body. And if something happens, they will go and tell the police about pata cake and all the other words. I can't even. Anne-Marie would remember some of these words.
Yeah.
But
so we have to be we have to really be real. Yeah. Real with our children. Talk to our children. Let our children know what the danger, what the danger is lurking. Like I tell my little ones, don't take anything from strangers. They may give you a lollipop. You may see a stranger, you don't know them. So what is our word? What is the word when we see a stranger coming to give us stuff? What do we say? And our word is stranger, danger. Stranger, danger. Yeah. And they will.
We have to teach them.
You have to teach them. You have to teach them. So, like I said, let us be advocate. Let's advocate for our children, because our children, we don't know it, but our children are open. They're open to a lot of dangers lurking, especially the cell phone. Our children are open to a lot of things. So we as parents and we as educators, we have to be an advocate. We have to teach our children the right things.
That's
encourage
right.
them in the right path, so that they will be safe.
Yes. Thank you, Sherilyn. Thank you. So we said that the children could be running away from abuse, but some of them run away too because they believe that will make the parents realize that the parents had made a mistake. So they run away because they're trying to let the parents realize, okay, you did something wrong. And you see, I am going to leave. They try to make the parents feel guilty about something. But running away will not really help. Will not help. Some of them are afraid about the trouble. They're afraid that they're about to get into trouble. So they did something wrong. And we talked about, like when somebody mentioned a person becoming pregnant, or what was it who talked about it, pregnant or something, or maybe a neighbor is coming to complain about something you did. Maybe the teacher called and said something. So they're afraid of that trouble that they got into or that they're about to get into. They're afraid they get licks. And so they run away. They run away from home. Some run away as well because they think the house has too many rules. Too many rules. I've had that experience. I've had a child tell me, so many rules, and they can't go by this one, and they can't go by that one, and they can't go by their friends, and they can't. Too many rules. The rules are too strict. So they want to get away from the rules and the limits and the boundaries that you set. So they try to find somewhere else to live. But I don't know that a child could manage themselves out there. And when they go out there, they're going into situations that have rules as well. Or they're going into dangerous situations. And so we have to talk with our children really, and help them to understand, look, we can sort out these problems here. Let's chat. And we're going to talk about some strategies a little later on. Some run away, and somebody mentioned a situation like that. Some run away because they don't approve of their parents' new partner. They don't approve of their parents' new partner, a step parent, or maybe step brothers or step sisters came to live in the home. And so they feel uncomfortable, they do not approve of it, and they pack and leave home. Some too try to get away from difficult situations. So they may run away from home because there's some situation at home that they can't negotiate properly. But sometimes too, they may run away from home because they're experiencing a difficult situation at school, and they know you're going to send them to school if they live in your house. So they run away, and it could be bullying. It could simply be bullying. They've been bullied at school, and so they want to get away from the area. They don't tell you about it, but they run away to get away from it. Some run away because of mental health situations. They may be experiencing some mental health conditions like anxiety and depression, and so they can't cope with home life. So they just get away from it. So it may be the child. It may be that the child needs help, and they don't know how to cope. They don't know how to tell you what's happening with them. They just appear to be depressed, out of it, confused, and they leave. Some leave because home is not safe. So the parents are always arguing. So it's not a safe situation for them to live in. Or there is domestic violence. They might not be getting the licks, you know. It could be the wife beating the husband or the husband beating the wife, and they have to exist in that situation. Or it may be a home where drugs are being abused or used. It may be a home where alcohol is being abused, and so it's not safe. They don't feel safe there. It could be a home where there are dangerous weapons. Parents have gun, or somebody coming by and cleaning their gun in front of them, and the child may realize, look, this is not a safe place. I don't want to be here. And they get out of it. Or they may be feeling neglected. Some run away too because they want to feel independent. They want to feel as though they're in control. They feel trapped in the home, and trapped because of the rules again, because they think that they're restricted. They're restricted by those rules, or maybe we have too many strong expectations for them, and they can't come up to the standards that we want, and so they get out of it and they want to take control of their lives and be independent. Some simply run away because they just want a new experience, or they want their peers to accept them. They're seeking peer acceptance, so they join their friends in their activities. And we mentioned some external factors. We mentioned it could be bullying at school. It could be substance abuse, we mentioned. It could be peer pressure. Or some run away because they get into some online relationship with somebody who encourages them to leave home. Don't forget, there are wicked people who are preying on our children online, PREYING, on our children online, and are encouraging them to do all sorts of unacceptable things.
Good evening, Dr. Bob and those online this evening.
Good evening, Bishop. Go ahead.
And how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Well, it's a blessing to be on the wake-up list.
Great. Yes. Yes, what do you have to tell us this evening?
Talking from experience, I am one person that ran away from home because I used to get licks for breakfast,
for
lunch,
tea, breakfast, and dinner.
Mm-hmm. I grew up with my grandmother in Mount Thomas. You should know where Mount Thomas is.
Yes, I do.
And then I went to Lescato, like how you pronounce it, to live with my mother and stepfather, and he was a rough person. I never see him smile yet. They used to call him, I think, Lion. He was always humming. If anybody complained about me to him, you're not asking why or anything like that. The first thing is lashes. And after a while, I couldn't really stick that. I decided to run away from home. So one morning I was sent to the pasture to milk the cow, and they're supposed to come down to pasture afterwards. So I timed them when they were about to leave home, from pasture to back home. And I packed my clothes in a cardboard box. I could never forget. Not only that, but I remember once I was in a dance hall, and he was told I was in a dance, and he came right in the dance hall. I have to jump through a window to escape. So I packed my clothes. I went to Miranda Guest House at Bachelet. That was my first place of employment. You can sleep in, you can eat, you get your breakfast, your lunch, dinner. So I stayed there. And there was a hatred in my heart for him, because my friend was saying, why don't you throw hot oil in his hair, do this to him? But I couldn't do that. And then I said, I will never go back home. Never. But then my life was transformed by Jesus Christ. The hatred went away, and then I was able to go back home. And things were different. So as you mentioned, abuse, there are different types of abuse. I couldn't stick it anymore. So I decided to run away.
So how old were you when you ran away? What did you say? Were you?
I can't still remember. I was a teenager, I should say, but I can't remember the exact age I ran away. But it was a change. I could never forget. There was an old Salvation Army building in Scarborough. I don't know if you know that building. Where they have the Kentucky. There was an old Salvation Army right there in Scarborough.
Okay.
I was invited to a gospel meeting by a good friend. The preacher was the late Dr. Turnell Nelson. He was the speaker. That was about 1962, around there.
Okay.
And I gave my life to Christ, and the rest is history. So I've experienced running away.
But you ran away from, not to. So you didn't run away to go find a girl or to get into trouble with the bad boys. You felt
No.
You felt abused, and so you left home because you wanted to escape from that situation. And even today, there are children who run away for those reasons. And we mentioned that before. Now, some experts, so thank you for your contribution, Bishop.
Okay.
Angela, did you want to make a contribution? Some experts say that there are usually no warning signs. You don't know. And Bishop, when you spoke, I waited to hear how you did it. So you waited until they went around, you got your cardboard box, you packed your stuff up, and you left. The experts say sometimes there are no warning signs. There are no warning signs. They also say when a child runs away from home, that's a genuine cry for help. That child needs help. Generally, the parents need help as well. So if a child runs away, we should not just sit around and bash that child and say the child is bad, or the child is hot, or the child is going to look for a man, or the child is going to... This is what happens. When we read the comments on social media, they're very insensitive, and people just jump to conclusions without having information.
You know, they were saying that I was so bad that I remember once I was asked to kneel down on the grater with 2 corporate iron hold up in my hands. You know those heavy corporate iron, right?
Yes.
I was supposed to kneel down on the grater and hold it up. So those are some of the things I went through.
I wonder what Bishop used to do, boy. I'm just kidding, don't worry. So when they run away, it's a cry for help.
Okay.
Parents can feel if a child runs away. The parents can feel that they've lost their influence and they've lost their control. They can feel helpless. Sometimes the child might not hide and run away. They might just run away, give you some hot words and run away. But the fact is that there is still a cry for help. It is a cry for help. But we're saying to parents, hang in there. And the children or the young people need to know that you love them, that you're there for them, and that you will not give up on them. The experts also provide some advice in terms of prevention. If we notice that things have started to go wrong between us and our children, we have to try to work out the problem. Well, try to understand what the problem is and try to rebuild a relationship with the child before a crisis occurs. Sometimes we need help. Sometimes we may have to have an expert teach us problem-solving skills and teach us and the child how to negotiate the crisis that is taking place. But through it all, we have to ensure that the child knows that we love them. We have to listen to their points of view before we give ours. Some of them want to talk to us, but we do not listen. We don't want to hear, as somebody mentioned earlier. This is a time when we should really talk. Talk with them, listen to them before we begin to talk. Talk to them about what is happening. And sometimes, we feel so bitter and they feel so bitter. We have to wait and try to find a middle ground where we can agree on something. So we might be fighting and quarreling about something, and that's not the thing that we should be talking about. Talk about something that we agree on, and eventually we'll be able to branch off into the issue that is at hand. But we have to ensure that this child understands that we care, that we have an ear, that they have an ear, that we want to listen, that we want to hear what they have to say. You see, we can't leave them with no choice. We can't leave them feeling as though, right, you see, they don't even want to hear me, because we are going to be really sowing the seeds for stronger negative reactions if we do that. So as adults, we really have to listen. We have to listen and then talk without being judgmental. If they threaten to run away, we have to take it seriously. We have to take it seriously. They tell you I run away, we have to take it seriously. It doesn't help to say, well, just do it now, or okay, go now, or I know you'll come back, run away, I know you'll come back. Or it's not even right to say, don't run away. We have to listen to them, listen to how they're feeling, ask them to tell you what the problem is that they're experiencing, and ask them to tell you what they think could make it better. Now, they might give you some kind of irrational story, and there's where we really have to learn to negotiate and have them weigh different options, and together we come up with the best solution. I'm saying it and it sounds easy, but sometimes it's not as easy as that. Sometimes it takes quite a lot of work and maybe expert intervention to be able to negotiate that kind of situation. And sometimes you may even need to spend some time away from the child so that you could settle down, the child could settle down, things could settle down. So sometimes in the heat of the moment, we should not try to deal with this situation. So we can agree, okay, let's okay, you can probably go to your big sister a little bit, and then when you're calm, then we can talk. But really, we can't send them into a situation where they'll be in danger. Eh? So it has to be a place and a person we can trust. And this time apart would give both of you a chance to think about what is happening and how things can be done differently.
Dr. Ward, I have my hand up a long time.
Okay, I didn't see it.
I listen to the different things. I don't have any type of clue about running away and that sort of thing. And I listen to the barbarism that the bishop said he suffered. I know people still treat, as a nurse, I have met children that were burnt and these kind of things. And you were saying that, always let the child know that you love them. How can a child who has been treated so cruelly, what can that child do? That child is going to have to run away. What is there for a child who is treated in that manner? Now, I don't think people dare put anybody to kneel down on grater and hold big stone and iron and stuff in their hands anymore. They'll be jailed. But people do wicked things to children. How can that child find peace and settle down? What is that child to do?
So in a situation like that, there are support groups that can help, and this is why we have to educate them about places where they can find help. They can reach out to Children's Authority, Child Protection Unit, and so on. A parent who is abusive is not really in a good position to let a child know that he loves them or she loves them. Okay, so in that situation, there's a parent who needs help and the child needs help. But the children can certainly reach out. Childline, Child Protection Unit, Children's Authority, a police station, somewhere, somebody, some
children
trusted
afraid
person.
to talk. They're afraid to talk.
We have to educate our children. Yes, we know they're afraid, but we have to educate them and let them know that they're supposed to talk in situations like those, that they not to keep it to themselves, but they must talk out. And this is why we have to have educational programs in our schools, in our churches, and this was mentioned to us earlier. Wherever we can, we need to educate our children so that they understand how to negotiate these difficult situations. Unfortunately, we live in a world that is not perfect. Things happen, but we have to let them know that there are solutions, there are ways out of the negative situations. Okay. So we said that sometimes you have to leave the situation a little bit for things to settle down, and then you can talk. And while you are not dealing with the situation, as an adult, it's a time to reflect on the situation, to look at it differently, to think of what you can do to help the child to feel better and to help you to feel better and everyone else in the family. It might be a time for you to reflect on why this child is always getting into some difficult situation. It might be a time for you to reach out to experts to find out if they can help you. It might be a time to seek some advice or support from the child's teacher, from the counselor, from the social worker, or the pastor, or somebody who can help. This child might be experiencing issues at school with friends that you don't know about. And when you talk, when you reach out, somebody might be able to give you some information. It's important to know their friends, to know who they talk to, and where they get support. If a child runs away, the friends would generally know where they're likely to go. And so you should know who their friends are. Although, when a child is a little older, becoming teenager, yes, they would want some levels of privacy, but you're still responsible for them and for their safety. And if anything happens to them, the police will hold us accountable. So we have to know quite a bit about them, understand who they're talking to on social media and all of that, because it could be somebody encouraging them to do something wrong. All in all, we should keep at building a positive relationship with these children. And if the rules are against them, we can try to work out the rules together so that the child feels as though they have choices. So we talked about the reasons why they run away and some things that we can do. But if they run away, what do we do? We have to try to stay calm. We have to remain calm because we have to think. And we also must remember that some of them will return by themselves, but some will not. So there we have to now try to find out how they left and where they went. We have to try to understand if it was planned. So when you look around the room and you look to see if they've packed anything, how much have they packed, how much clothes missing and all of that. Check their possessions. Check to see if they left a note saying anything, because sometimes they may write a note. If they use Facebook or other social media sites, we can check those to see what recent information they shared, because they might say it on Facebook. They might hint at it, so we can check to see. You want to ensure that they're safe, so try to work out whether they're likely to be safe. And we have to try to find out if they're running away from something or to something. Then we contact the parents of their friends to find out what they know. Check them. Check the parents of their friends. Sometimes you might feel ashamed and don't want them to know, well, the child is not there, but you want the child to be safe. So sometimes you just have to forget about feeling ashamed and act in the best interest of the child. And if you find out that the child is with friends, let them know that you're worried and that you want to talk. You see, we still need to show that we care. Don't leave any threatening messages. Don't promise to give them a good song licking when they come home. Let them know that we care and that we want to talk. And when we make contact with a child, we sometimes may need a third person to help us to talk things through. Somebody who will be there to assist us. We also have to be prepared to make some changes, because sometimes we might be doing things that are wrong. And if we don't sort out whatever is going wrong, the child may run away again. Remember too that we need to inform the authorities. So don't keep it a secret. Inform the authorities that the child ran away. Let them know. Call Children's Authority, Child Protection Unit, the police. Call and let them know. Running away can be a sign that something serious is going wrong and we need help. We need professional help. And when the children return, we have to avoid the lecture mode. We even have to avoid the major big discussion mode when they walk through the door. They're coming home expecting trouble. Don't satisfy that expectation. We have to give them some time to settle down. And the first thing we have to let them know is that we care. Sometimes as parents, it's hard to humble ourselves and let the children see us in that kind of what we believe to be a weak mode. But no, we need to let them know that we care, let them know that we were worried, and that we need to talk. We need to talk. We have to avoid also blaming them and letting them feel guilty. And by telling them, I knew you would come crawling back. I know you was going to come back. You know, we say those kinds of things because we are angry. However, we have to consider the best interest of the child. And so we have to really control ourselves in dealing with situations like that. I feel somebody wants to say something at this point. Anybody else ran away? Bishop ran away. Bishop, I would have never thought that you ran away. However, we understand you ran away because you were abused. And who wouldn't want to run away from abuse? However, as I said before, let's educate our children so they know how to negotiate these situations. Yes. So does anybody else want to talk? Anybody else want to say anything? Who has run away? So Eustace, you never ran away. Where is he? Is he still on?
Miss Bobb-Ward, good night.
Yes, Mrs. Forbes. Good evening.
Yes. All right. I'm listening to the program, and there's an instance where, well, more than one instance actually, where we had this neighbor in the area. She's paying her rent, so she did not have a permanent home around the area, renting from someone, and she has a daughter. And at the time, the daughter was of secondary school age. So I think she's a bit older now. She probably left school by now. The mommy seemed to be a bit special needs. And she was the only one taking care of the daughter. And there was a lot of instances where it had a little suspect activity taking place within the home in terms of the mother being a bit promiscuous, and the daughter learning that and seemed to be following suit. Because we live in a village, and in a village is a small place and people talk. So you always hear little whispers about what people say and what the young lady would have been involved in. But the mother was a bit aggressive in terms of being difficult to approach.
Okay.
And the daughter learned a lot of that. So she basically had a mouth on her. And she was very mature. And when I say mature, I don't mean in a good way, but big womanish, I should say. There was instances where she would have gotten in school fights, it even made the news, school fights involving her and all of these things. From what I remember, she ran away twice. And police would have gotten involved, taken information and all of that. But somehow, she still stayed in the care of the mommy. And a couple of years ago, they moved out. Probably about 2 years ago, they moved out of the area. So we kind of lost track in terms of what's going on with them. But I believe by now she should be 18 years old.
Okay.
So in a situation like that where, the police would have gotten involved, more than likely Children's Authority as well. And more than likely the child is of adult age right now. And I guess even now, even if she runs away now, it would be like a child running away. It's a whole adult. So you can't even say a child anymore.
Okay.
So in a situation like that, would we say that the state has failed? Would we say that the parent has failed? How would you look at something like that?
So if you said the parent has some special needs, apparently.
Yes.
Okay, so she would have needed some support with respect to that child. Yeah? Parent would have needed some help. I wouldn't say the state failed. I wouldn't say the parents failed. The parent, from what you described, didn't have the skills or the ability. I'm not sure how deeply the state was involved in this situation, so I wouldn't even be able to make a pronouncement on that. However, you know, as responsible adults, we really have to intervene in this situation sometimes, you know. We have to call up somebody sometimes and let them know what's happening in this area, what's happening in this situation. Sometimes, you know, it might be unsafe to do so. But I think we have to think of the greater good and the child and what this child could become if we don't intervene, if we don't tell somebody what's happening, and if we don't seek help for that person. Rebecca, go ahead, please.
So I know sometimes people, when children tell them something that is happening at home, they will tend to say, you know, don't worry, you know, see if you could bear with it. You'll grow up one of these days and you'll leave home, you know? So at least if they're providing for you and things like that. So get the education, you will grow up and you will leave home. But sometimes I wonder, okay, what kind of adults will they grow up to be after they have been through all this? Sometimes you see people who grow up and they never function properly. Sometimes they turn into abusers themselves. Sometimes they turn on the other side and they become so docile that they get into relations where they can't even extract themselves from abusive situations, or they come out of one and they find themselves back in a same situation. So yes, we say they're gonna grow up eventually, you know, but I always worry about what kind of adults will they grow up to be. Yes, they will grow up, but how will they be when they actually do grow up?
Yes, sometimes they need help, professional help. Yes, they grow up and they're no longer in this situation, but they are dysfunctional in so many ways. I feel we have a responsibility to help, to seek professional help, to refer, so that we have a chance of saving somebody somewhere along the line. It's really a pity, eh? It's really a pity. But let's do whatever we can in our small corners so that people could be helped. Yes, Lynn, I see your hand. Lynn, go ahead. Okay, you unmuted, but we're not getting you. Lynn? Maybe she's experiencing some problems there. So children run away from home for several reasons. And we named some of those reasons here this evening. There's a disagreement. They might be running away from some issue. They may want the parents to feel guilty. They may be afraid of getting into trouble. They could be running away from abuse, physical, sexual neglect, and the like, family violence, a situation where there are drug abusers or alcohol abusers in the home, a situation where the parents are getting into fights and quarrels and abusing each other. They could be depressed. They could have other mental health issues.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I changed the mic. Now, a parent, okay, say the mom is a teacher, right? And they have their little children. They sit in the C exam. The mother will say, I want you to go to Bishop's, the high school in Tobago, whichever. But this child do not want to go to that school. Okay, when results come out and they did not pass to the parent choice, the parents start treating them unkind. They reach the stage where they do C exam. This child maybe want to be a pharmacist, but the mother want the child to be a teacher. And forcing the child. She not letting the child make a decision. Okay, she go to university and study. But because she do not want to be a teacher, some mom, she want to be a pharmacist. She will waste her money in university, even though she's studying that, her grades will be small. So then you as the parent, even though you're not an educator, I only give that example, talk to the child and find out why they want to be a pharmacist. They may say, well, I like that, you know, so you must give a child a chance to express themselves, and they will not, well, say, waste their money, because after, when the child has succeed to the highest point, you want them to. You will tell them things like, all that money I spent and you give me back my money. And this child will feel so bad. They may go and work in a supermarket with the intention of paying her back every cent. And when I'm done, I ain't going back there. So, you know, as parents, we have to encourage and support the children. Do not push them, force them to do what you want. Because maybe when you was a child, you wanted to be this, but you didn't have the qualifications for it. So you take the second choice. So you want your child to
fulfill your
So
yeah.
my piece, I think it is bad.
Yes.
Parents,
Yes.
let the child choose what
Be what
they
want to be. Yeah. Indeed. You know, Lynn, yes, some of us, some children leave home because they can't live up to our expectations.
That's
We
correct.
put pressure on them. The C exam is a good example. And I spoke at a graduation in Tobago recently, and I told the parents, thank God for where your children pass, what they passed. Don't go home and don't pressure them. And if you know you pressure them before you came to the graduation ceremony, go home and apologize. Because sometimes we really put pressure on them.
It's a lot of work. And the children, you know, after the C exam or whatever exam, they're not letting them make a pancake home if they want to eat that. No, if you eat that, you wouldn't focus, you wouldn't study, you know. So all this stress. So the children, according to the age, you have to know what they can take and guide them, but encourage them so that they will be successful in their choice.
So, you know, Lynn, as you were speaking, I thought of my own daughter, my first daughter. I didn't want her to do clothing and textile at school. Because well, of course, people who know me know that I sew. And I felt that sewing was a very lonely affair. When everybody else is sleeping, you're up sewing 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't want her to do it at all, but she loved it. She loved it. She expressed interest in it from since she was quite young, and she would not go to sleep until I was finished sewing. She would look at me doing what I was doing. I didn't want her to sew, but she did her clothing and textile, and she excelled in it. And when I look at her now, you know, she's sewing for stars who I have never met. Sewing for people in LA, Hollywood, and so on, who I never met. So I was trying to fit her into my mold. But she, you know, of course, I allowed her to do what she wanted to do. And she has really, really done very well where that is concerned. So we have to let them. We can't, because the neighbors' children went to bishops, or because the neighbors' children are doing medicine, we can't try to fit our children into those tight molds that they really can't fit into.
So this is my piece. We can encourage the children because they know what they want from very small, and you will observe the girls, if they want to be a doctor, they will actually buy, you know, the statistic for them. You will see them having dolly, experimenting with it. Even boys, if they want to be a pilot, you may see them building little plane or doing things. So you can observe what they have interest in and, you know, build on it or encourage them to pick other things. And
and encourage them to be the best
ever
at whatever field. Yeah,
You
be the
know,
best.
if that
Do
is
it
what
well. Yes. Yes, I agree with you, Lynn. I agree with you, Lynn. So we have to let the children, they have the potential. God made them in a particular way with their own talents and so on. And so we have to let them be what they can be. I remember when I was with my daughter 4 years ago, you know, as I was about to travel back to Trinidad and Tobago, there she was making swimsuits for one of the very popular singers that the young people love, making swimsuits for her, 4 swimsuits for this star, you know, and quite recently too, I saw where Liz Williams highlighted her on Facebook for work she did at a recent show that took place in New York, New Jersey area. So we leave them, let them be. Don't force them into any mold. Some of them run away because they feel as though they can't meet our expectations.
Yes, and
generally,
that is
some run because they feel unwanted, they feel unloved, and they run away in search of a place where they feel they belong. Let us remember that every child's situation is different. Every child's situation is unique. And some may run away for something that we consider to be little. Some may endure and endure and endure and eventually run away when they can't.
Another thing is too,
we have to remember too that we show them love throughout the whole situation, that we can seek professional help to try to address the issues. We have to stop and think. Stop and think.
But another thing is, now your child, my child, anybody's child, in Tobago, they prefer to go to Jamaica to university. But you, the parent, feel they don't look responsible. They may not be able to do everything, you know, as an adult. They're maybe 18, 19 years. You're pushing it, that you want them to go to Trinidad, that every minute you could go down with the boat or the plane and check them or they come up. But the children want a little slack. And then now, when they go to Trinidad, they were not successful there, or you may threaten them. If you go Jamaica, you will have to pay half your fee. If it's in Trinidad, you get a scholarship, or I will do it, your daddy and I or so. So through fright now, they will take what you tell them because they know they can't support and they can't do 2 jobs and be successful. They prefer a full-time university, and all that too can slow down the children.
But Lynn, we are not saying that you give them everything that they want. We cannot give them everything that they want. A child studying in Trinidad and a child studying in Jamaica is not the same thing. If they're living outside of the country, then we're talking about expenses that could be avoided if the program is available in Trinidad and Tobago and they do it here. So some of them will tell you, well, they want to go to Jamaica, but they want to go to Jamaica at whose expense? We have to think about that as well. So we're not saying that we should really give them everything they ask for. As parents, we still have to be responsible. We can sit down and discuss it with them, negotiate it with them, but no child should really be demanding that they go to Jamaica outside of the country when the option in Trinidad and Tobago is a better option. And then I'll tell you something too. When you compare the 3 campuses, St. Augustine in Trinidad, Mona in Jamaica, Kefil in Barbados, the better campus is St. Augustine, always. And I can tell you that because I have privy to results and what obtains at the universities. So they're not just to say, let me go out there, and then you have to be struggling, taking a loan, spending all your savings to send them there. That is not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying. And children have no right to be demanding from you that you spend your resources to let them go to the university that they want to go. I don't object to that.
Then you are a university graduate, you go right up, so you'll have more knowledge than I. But however, The children should realize if they have another sibling 3 years younger than them or 2, you know, in the next 2 years, you will want to send that one to university as well. So you may be able to tell them, don't waste your time, else you'll have to get a part-time job when you're on holidays, because your other sibling want to go university as well. Or sometimes the other child said, you see me, I good. I go fifth form, I get my papers, etc. I want to do mechanic, I don't want to go further or whatever. You shouldn't say, if the first one go, every child of mine have to go university. And that is why sometimes some children do not do of their best.
Okay, all right. Yeah. All right, so here's some things that we should do as parents. We have to stop and think, try to figure out what's happening in this situation. And we must always edit what we say. Always be careful about what we say to the children. We have to soften what we say. Yes, we should not lose our authority at all. We are not saying let the children control you, but we have to be cautious about what we say.
But then if they are a young adult,
if
they can make a decision too. You can't just make all the decisions for a young adult.
If
we be responsible, you know, feel well, they can say something, they have a voice.
Okay. So we can offer attempts to repair the situation. So the situation might be fractured, but we can attempt to discuss with them to repair the situation. We must talk with them, talk deeply with them, try to understand what they're thinking, share with them, be open with them, share with them, let them understand your point of view. But remember, we said first you must listen. We must also focus on the positives. So when a child is in that kind of situation, we should not just dig up all the negatives, but talk about the positives as well. And we also have to select boundaries and honor and respect those boundaries. There is so much more that we can talk about in this situation, but we have to remember too that all children are not the same, that we shouldn't jump to conclusions when things happen. We have to understand that some children are yearning for a better life, and we must do what we can to ensure that that better life is available for them at home. Help in any way we can. And remember that we can always pray for them and reach out to Jesus, who is a friend of a wounded heart, who will be able to assist us in any situation.
Thank you.
Why do they run away? We discussed some of the issues why they run away, and we have to utilize some of the strategies that we discussed here earlier. So we're going to wrap up now because we've kept you beyond the time that we expected. But we did have a very healthy discussion, and I am asking you to share this information when it is posted on YouTube and Facebook so that people can benefit from what we do. As we close up, I'm asking Anita. Is Anita still there? I think she left. Anne-Marie, could you say a word of prayer for us, please?
No, Anita is still here. No
oh, I'm sorry, Anita. I didn't realize. Could you say a word of prayer for us as we close?
Let's pray. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you, dear God, for your goodness. We thank you for your love and for your mercies, dear God. We thank you for your understanding, for your loving kindness towards the children of men. Father, you created us and you know everything about us. So we ask you to bless us. Help us, dear God, to have that understanding, to have that love, Father, because at times we tend to forget certain things, and we try to do things to please ourselves and not think about the younger ones.
Father, we pray that you will help us, dear God, to love them despite the situation. Help us to love them, to let them know that we care about them. We care about their future, and we want the best for them. So we ask that you will bless us. Wherever we went wrong, dear God, help us to humble ourselves at times, because as adults, we feel we don't have to humble. We believe we are just there to do what we know because of the way we grew up as children. We just do what we know. But Father, help us to understand that we are all human and we all deserve to be treated as such, dear God. Sometimes when we see things happen, dear God, we just judge. We don't get the full message. As I always said, don't judge the story if you don't know the book. So Father, help us. Help us, oh God, that we will allow everyone to know that you are our friend and you will always treat us as a friend. So when we see others, dear Lord, going through their problems, help us, dear Father, to encourage, to try to find out what is the problem and try our best to assist, dear Jesus. We thank you for these programs, dear Lord. We thank you for the education. We thank you for being educated through these programs, dear God. So bless us, strengthen us, cover us. Despite what we went through, help us not to meet it out to anyone, dear Jesus, but to do what we can to allow them to grow and to overcome the hurt that they have been going through, what they have passed through, so that they can become better citizens for this world and for the world to come. So bless us, give us a peaceful night rest, and may we continue to do the work that you have called us to do, so that men and women, boys and girls can come to know you as their friend and be able to share you with others. In Jesus Christ's name, we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night, everybody. See you again next week. God's will.